I'm knocked on the window back there.
Oh, he just gave them the.
Okay, we're good, Ben. All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the May 2023 Delaware County Council meeting. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well done.
Tony, will you kick us off?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, well, before we go into roll call, we do have a new member. I wanted to make sure we took a little time to welcome and introduce Jim Mokel. Jim, do you want to take a second and introduce yourself to the crowd?
Good morning. My name is Jim Mokel. I've been a Muncie resident since 1980. Many of you might remember, might recall, and for those that don't, I spent a majority of my life in the restaurant business at a restaurant on McGalliard. I have been involved in politics for quite some time. I spent 20-some years on the board of the Muncie Visitors Bureau, Summer Heat, the hot air balloon event, the Sportsplex. Currently, I just resigned from the Muncie Fire Merit Commission, and I live again in Muncie. My wife and I have been together for 36 years. We have a son who lives in North Carolina. We have a daughter that teaches at Alexandria Elementary, and this is her last day, and she's all excited about that. And so I'm excited about being your new council member. Of course, I've got some big shoes to fill, and I hope that everybody will give me the opportunity to gradually grow into those shoes. I'm excited to be here.
Well, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Present.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
Mr. Cantz.
Here.
Mr. Mokel.
Here.
Mr. Webb.
Here.
Mr. Wyatt.
Present.
Ms. Piper.
Here. All right, so just a friendly reminder, questions from the public may be directed to County Council dist@co.delaware.in.us. Again, that's County Council dist@co.delaware.in.us. Denise, was the agenda posted?
Yes.
At this time, I'll entertain an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Ryan. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving on to the approval of the April 25th council meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Any questions, comments, corrections? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving right on to our transfer and appropriation agenda. Tanya, if you want to kick those off.
Okay, starting with transfers, everything is under county general today. Starting off with clerk, 125. C, 118, deputy clerk, negative 15,445.80. D, 118, deputy clerk, positive 15,445.80. Total transfer, 0.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. All of the transfers had a favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee. The vast majority of these through the whole transfer agenda are backfilling of employees, so keep that in mind. Do we have any questions for the clerk? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Group.
Yeah.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome. Moving on.
Okay, next is communications, 124. We have B, 111, communication tech, negative 22,538.50. C, 111, communication tech, positive 22,538.50. A, 114, communication tech, negative 24,192.34. B, 114, communication tech, positive 24,192.34. 195, holiday pay, positive $10,000. A, 133, communication tech, negative $2,000. C, 113, communication tech, negative $6,000. K, 108, communication tech, negative $3,000. 196, overtime, positive $11,000. 173, health insurance, negative $10,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions?
I made some notes, I passed everybody, but you may wanna go over the overtime piece, and you had mentioned, about health insurance, that there was a big gap, so that's part of the movement of the money, right?
Yeah, so there's a health insurance gap because we don't have our full number of employees. The overtime is something that will happen throughout the year. We find money and transfer it into overtime to pay all the extra hours, so.
Any further questions?
Yeah, I would like, how short is your staff?
I'm down 4 people.
4 people? Okay. Do you have anybody coming in as far as in the pipeline?
I was down more, we've backfilled 3 positions, so.
Okay, thanks.
And actually, one of those transfers was a lateral
It was.
transfer, so
was.
they utilized that appropriation we made 2 months ago, last month, recently. Any further questions for Fred? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, on to jail.
Okay, jail 145. We have F 132, correctional officer, negative 22,753.46. G 132, correctional officer, positive 22,753.46. 100, captain, negative 30,876.94. A 100, captain, positive 30,876.94. C 102, lieutenant, negative 28,993.88. D 102, lieutenant, positive 28,993.88. B 135, corporal, negative 24,425.66. C 135, corporal, positive 24,425.66 for a total transfer of 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions?
I do have a quick question. Is this many people in these many positions leaving, or is this one person that's caused the domino effect?
Yes, we do have some people leaving. We had, someone that we're transitioning around for promotions, demotions, that sort of thing, which caused that domino effect on this station right here.
My second question is there like, a certain limited amount of high-ranking positions to where someone, in the lower ranks, the only way to get promoted is to wait for one of those positions to open up? Is that why we see it like this? Or, okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, on to jail lit.
Okay, jail lit, 1170, 145. C 106, correctional officer, negative 28,349.19. D 106, correctional officer, positive 28,349.19. Total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. On to sheriff.
Okay, Sheriff 129. We have B 103, deputy, negative 31,938.68. C 103, deputy officer, positive 31,938.68. Total, 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions?
One quick question. Recent meetings, we've heard about the staffing levels. Could you give a quick update on where we are on staffing for the sheriff's deputies?
we are down with, retirements, we're down 3. This deputy actually resigned.
Okay.
He's one of the 3.
And I know you guys are also doing lateral transfers as well, correct?
Correct.
Have any luck with that?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Alright. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. Alright, moving on to the addendum.
Okay, under addendum, everything is also county general. Starting off with circuit court, 138. We have C, 165, court secretary, negative 18,000, 138.78. D, 165, court secretary, positive 18,000, 138.78, for a total transfer of 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alright, on
Thank
to
you.
communications.
Okay, under communications 124, we have B 128, communication tech, negative $21,057.73. C 128, communication tech, positive $21,057.73, total 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. On to jail.
Okay, jail 145, we have E 114, correctional officer, negative $18,055.44. F 114, correctional officer, positive $18,055.44. G 108, corporal, negative $21,714.16. H 108, corporal, positive $21,714.16, total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. And on to sheriff.
Okay, sheriff 129. We have A 130, deputy, negative $29,392.74. B 130, deputy, positive $29,392.74. A 104, captain, negative $38,423.62. B 104, captain, positive $38,423.62. D 143, deputy, negative $31,501.04. E 143, deputy, positive $31,501.04. A 113, lieutenant, negative $35,176.04. B 113, lieutenant, positive $35,176.04, for a total transfer of 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I believe we have one more.
County Council 157, we have A 105, County Council member, negative $9,000. B 105, County Council member, positive $9,000, for a total transfer of 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions? This is backfilling, obviously, you need to pay Jim, so I think he'd like to be paid. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, on to transfers. Excuse me, our financial appropriations.
And once again, everything is under county general today. We will start with auditor 126. We have 441, equipment, computer, positive $18,000, for a total of $18,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I wasn't in the finance meeting. Is this just like one computer? Is it a series of computers? It's like a
12.
heavy duty computer?
Yeah. Ed, you want to share a
Yeah,
little
this is
insight?
replacing 12 of our computers in our office.
Is it laptops or desktops?
Desktops.
Desktops, okay, thank you.
Ed, about how many computers do you have in your office?
Altogether, about
No.
15,
15?
yeah.
Are you gonna start a program where you try to do this on a yearly or bi-yearly basis?
Yes, we had one in the treasurer's office, it's in ours office, we'll start that program.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead. Mr. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving on to the commissioners.
Okay, under Commissioners 153, we have 311, Wagner, Irwin, Shield and Associates for a positive $96,640 even, total $96,640.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. Any questions?
I do.
Yep.
Could you explain what this is, please, for the record?
Yes, this is, something that's very much needed. We are, working with, Ken Irwin as far as the salary, or not the salary, the job descriptions. They've not been updated for a long time, and he's going through each employee, updating, and we're working with the counties around us. Because we can't compare to Hamilton County, so it's the different counties, and he's just gonna update this, and the council, you know, I appreciate the commissioners signing off on this, and the commissioners, or the council paying for this.
There is a salary component. There's job description plus salary
Yes,
study.
that's right,
correct?
that is correct, yes.
Is there any idea of how long that's supposed to be good for?
Well, I hope we can keep it updated, so we don't have to keep doing this. That's why we have them doing it, so like if a new job comes in or something like that, they can, I'm gonna say, for example, with Marta's position, she was, I don't know if I'm talking out of turn or not, but she was totally underpaid. So we took that, to them, and they, worked with the different counties and came up with a salary that the planning commission board can work with. And it's a lot more than what Marta was paid. So it's just like each position will be evaluated, and given to the council. This is very much needed.
Well, I'd have to agree. I think this is really important, and thanks to the commissioners, and thanks to Matt, Jessica, and Bill for going to the commissioners. And
We
I
really
think,
appreciate all of this.
We get a lot of mileage out of this, so.
And I do want to thank Ed, because he's been helping me on this too.
Well, and this is something that the council's been talking about. Like, I think most of you have been around budget hearings for a while. It hasn't been done since before I've been on council. It's been over a decade, if not longer.
It was last done in 2004.
Okay, a lot longer.
lot longer.
Almost 20 years ago.
You were still in school.
So it's been a minute, and, you know, we're always comparing ourselves to the surrounding counties and other counties. And when you look at statistics, the Association of Indiana Counties provides us with a listing of counties that are about similar size to us. So we can look and kind of benchmark. But one of the other components that makes it tricky for us is we do have employees that are 32 and a half hours versus a 40-hour work week. So being able to look at it even as an hourly wage to get a better picture of what these salaries truly look like will be really helpful, and keeping up on the job descriptions will be great. It'll be a huge help to our HR department. I think there'll be a lot of streamlining, which will be great for everyone across the board. And I think there's been some conversation about like some kind of board if we're wanting to change job duties within a job description, that it's not just, you can't just come up to council and say, hey, by the way, we do this now, and there'll be a process in place to ensure that we're doing that and documenting it. And I believe, Ed, correct me, or Pam, if I'm wrong, but like 80 of the 92 counties use this firm for this.
Oh, yes, yes.
For this service. And I've talked to friends up in Blackford County and Henry County. They utilize it. Some of them are doing it every 3 years, some maybe every 5, it depends. Some are annually that I've spoken to. So, I think it'll be a great opportunity.
And when a job description changes, we will have a committee. This will go in front of the committee and be discussed, and it's just not gonna be a one-man.
But it's not just job descriptions, it's salary.
Salary, yes,
as well,
how much,
correct?
yes, uh-huh.
Pam, I think it would be helpful if you could send a copy of that letter of engagement to each of the council members.
I will do that.
But it's a good summary. Just briefly, first is to review the existing job classification and compensation plans. Secondly, review and prepare job descriptions, and that's approximately 549 county employees. Then step 3, job description point factoring, kind of measuring one job against another and
making sure that they're, square. Then a compensation analysis, Fair Labor Standards Act analysis, which is the exempt versus non-exempt. Then a final report, and then a maintenance system. That's the final step of this. So I think it's a very good, logical progression that will provide a living document, something we don't put on the shelf and never look at.
Sure. I have one more question that maybe one of you guys who are a lot more informed on this could probably answer. Obviously, this is needed to help people earn what they're worth and capable of earning. What if I'm a county employee and I'm earning X amount of money and the salary study comes in and recommends I be paid less? What are my concerns with that?
That's not gonna happen. No one's gonna get paid less than what they're getting paid now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, any further questions or comments?
Yes, if we approve this, what's the time frame of completion?
Total completion, didn't they say, Ed, probably 6 to 9 months for me to have everything?
It'll be close to the end of the year.
Yeah.
They've got to review every.
So not for budget.
From the county.
Correct, not this time.
Right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
thank you.
All right. Any further questions? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, and that's everything, right, Tanya?
Yes.
All right, so if someone would like to read the motion?
Motion to approve financial transfers and to amend salary ordinance with like reductions.
Second.
All right, motion by Eugene, second by Dan, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. Oh, we have a nameplate.
It's a half hour late. Almost.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ken. Just came in off the truck.
There we go, perfect. We'll get a stamp.
You're really official now.
Yeah.
You're official.
Now you're somebody.
Hold this one, will you?
You're stuck now,
It's a name
Jim.
tag, Jim. Just wear it up here.
All right, as we
There you
get
go.
that all situated, we'll move on to appointments and committee reports. We do not have any appointments at this time, but probably will here soon. I know we have some that change over in like July or August, so those will be coming up. Committee reports, Bill, if you'd like to update us.
I would. I've put at your place a hard copy of the draft rules that we have earlier emailed you and have been posted on the county website. And there are additional hard copies if anyone is interested. A few comments on the process. My suggestion is that we'll take a month to look at this, additional input from council members, and hopefully then take it up at the June meeting for possible amendments, but perhaps final adoption. Better to get it right than do it in a hurry. A few comments about kind of the thought process as Dan and I worked on this, and Jane was able to as well. We did include in section 102 an organizational meeting, which is was a suggestion that we kind of memorialize that. In section 2 on meetings, we've kept the regular monthly meeting as it is. There was suggestion to have evening meetings. I think our thought process was that vast majority of our work is with county employees and office holders. We're staffed by the auditor's office. All those people would be coming back on their own time if we meet in the evening. However, we did recognize that there can be subjects of public interest that would suggest that those meetings could be held in the evening, and we also would look at a different venue if we thought we were going to have a larger crowd. There was quite a bit of discussion about public comment and how that should be handled. We kept the sign-in sheet concept. And the purpose of the sign-in sheet is not to do anything other than make sure that we have accurate minutes that Denise can tell who was speaking and how to spell their names, if nothing else. But if others wish to speak who did not sign in, we would accommodate that. And there's not been a problem as far as time in our view, but if it seemed as though that was going to become a problem, we authorized the president to set a time limit of not less than 3 minutes. We've followed the general agenda that we've traditionally used. Again, some discussion, should public comment, should that be moved up in the agenda? We left it where it was, but that's something that the council can discuss. Under section 5, appointments, that was something that we looked at in lieu of the process that we went through earlier this year. We've made a suggestion that we want to try to get the appointments made before January 1, because so many of those boards and commissions begin meeting perhaps before our January meeting. So in order to do that, we need to back the process up as early as October, begin to publicize what the vacancies are, what the requirements for each vacancy are, and create a process where people can express their interest and submit that to be considered, so that appointments can be made no later than December. Again, that's going to be something that we can discuss and fine tune, and I certainly would appreciate everyone's input on that. Final note, as you noted, most of the financial items at this meeting were just simply new employees filling positions. We had a discussion at the finance committee meeting last week. Is there a better way to do that, to not require department heads and office holders to come to 2 meetings simply to fill a position? I would personally, I can see streamlining that process as long as the council is still advised what's going on in each department as far as employment. But if there's a better way to do those kinds of transfers, not other things, but just those kinds of transfers, I don't know that that would be something we'd incorporate in the rules, but we might consider in a separate resolution that the council could consider. But that's not going to be part of this discussion. I just wanted to highlight that there is some discussion as to whether that should be addressed. So those are just general comments. Again, please feel free to contact Dan or I anytime before the next meeting with any thoughts at all, and we can have a full discussion and hopefully consideration in June.
On the transfer piece, we kind of left it, there was gonna be some details spelled out and to present to everybody to say, hey, this is how we might consider handling the transfer requests, and trying to streamline and avoid the duplication and also the time really to have to do that. So I think through Ed's office, they're gonna come back with something to try to look at that in more detail.
And there's a lot of paperwork that goes into getting those transfers onto the agenda each meeting, so that would streamline, I think, give some of the employees a lot of time back too. So we're definitely having conversations, or just now starting to have conversations about streamlining that, so. Any further questions about Bill's report on the rules of the Delaware County Council?
Well, I want to thank Bill for being the head on this, and I kind of came in late due to the demise passing of James, so I tried to help out, but he had the lead on it.
Yes, he's put in a lot of time and we appreciate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say something very similar to, Bill's been spearheading this thing since he came on the council, and I appreciate that. It's very sensible rules, and a lot of it's what we're already doing. It's just putting it in writing. Thank you as well to Dan as well. I do have a quick question. We mentioned some boards and committee appointments. I think, you said we may have a couple coming up in July or somewhere in that area. Can we, make it known what those are and how many positions?
I need to
are coming
double check,
available?
but they may be council members. It
Oh,
may have to
okay,
be a member
okay.
that, I think one of them has to be a fiscal member of this board, so,
Gotcha.
but yes, I'll double check that and get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Well, everyone, I'll get back to all of you. All right, so moving on to ordinances and resolutions, we have none at this time, so right down to new business. And Emily, I think you're ready this month with a presentation for us.
Yes, Emily Anderson, Court Administrator. I already passed out a couple of handouts, so I just want to talk about, the recording equipment at the courts. What I provided you was the first quote that we received from BIS, along with some letters of support. So when we got that first quote, I believe it was 26,000. I went back to them and I'm like, is there any way you can give us a better quote? That's just a lot of money. And, so they just gave me that new quote, which is, part of your packet as well, which is $16,974. Trying to give me a deeper discount. So with that, I do have money in my budget, to cover the majority of that cost, in my salary line items where I've had employees not in those lines. And then I can take a little bit out of my budget. In lieu of that, I want to be upfront about another issue, which we discussed at the last council meeting. That is that spreadsheet I gave you, which is the jury trial spreadsheet. I did a really, really rough draft of what this could look like just for this year. I try to do an average because it's really hard to go off of 1 year. So the top spreadsheet is 2022. I have 3 funds I take out of currently, because I have the ARP money. The commissioners gave me ARP money for jury trials. And that's really what has saved us in the last 2 years, with jury trials and psychological fees. You remember psych fees is another issue. So in 2022, we spent $59,000, almost $60,000 on jury trials. We are on trend to spend that same amount in 2023. We're already at $35,000. So when I look at what I have funding wise, I was down to $10,000 in my ARP fund. And so I transferred, I asked the commissioners if I could transfer some ARP money from my mediation. We're not spending that money as quickly. So I transferred 30,000 or 20,000 from mediation over to, jury. So that's where you get that 30,000, balance. And then I do have in my jury fee fund currently $39,000. What is going to happen is they're going to triple the amount of fees that I get in that jury fee fund. And then I'm also going to get an additional $75 per civil tort case and per plenary case. So I pulled 2022 civil filings, and I looked between 22 and 23 what I've got filed. And I took that average, and so that's where I come up with my projected revenue coming into that jury fee fund. Again, it's very hard to determine what I'm going to get. But if I take all of that, my total funding would be that $117,000, but that's everything. That would deplete my entire account. And as you can see at the bottom, that's my projected costs. So I'm still going to be short. And we don't want to deplete my entire funding because the next year I'm going to come to County General for everything. So I'm just giving you an idea of if I'm predicting, and again, this is a very rough estimate. If I'm predicting what the cost is going to go up because they're doubling the fee, what we're paying the jurors, which is well needed. They're doubling the fee, but they're doubling what I'm getting. I'm not getting that money in right away, and it's going to deplete my entire funding. Then complicate that with the psych fees that I got to pay out that I'm using my county general fund for. I'm going to be short. So keep that in mind as I talk about the recording equipment. Recording equipment, I've got money to cover currently. in my budget. So I don't have a problem coming back next month and doing a transfer to cover that. But down the road this year, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to come back and ask for funding for jury trials and or psych fees, whichever, either way, it's gonna play out. I'm on trend to do another 60,000 in psych fees again this year. Last year, we took it out of jury trials, out of the county general budget because we had the ARP money. But this year, even if I do that, I'm gonna run out of jury trial money. So I'm leaving it up to you how you want me to handle this.
Are some of these jury trials, are we catching up from,
It is a combination of pandemic,
Right.
everybody's getting their jury trials in, and just a lot of jury trials are going. And again, that's so hard to predict because we have jury trials stacked every month, as we all know. And yeah, we had a lot of murders. How many murders did we have last year? 13 murders. So we had a lot of murders that occurred. We had pandemic that we're catching up from. I don't know if it's gonna slow down because we have jury trials stacked every week. And then depending on if the attorneys are ready to go, if that goes, then it comes to us and we send it out. Now, sometimes that jury trial, the venari goes out and then they end up resolving the case and we cancel that trial. But more often than not in the last 2 years, it has gone. So
So
it's just hard to predict.
I'm confused about the money.
Okay.
So I know I'm a little slow, but you're saying that the projected costs for this year are 122,258,
Yes.
and you're funded at 117,754?
That's if you deplete all my accounts. That's if you deplete my jury fee fund account in full, and I have
How much is
nothing.
it typically depleted?
Usually I leave a 15,000 in there because we fund 15,000 every year. However, with the new rates, I'll be getting more, so I would think that we would be funding it higher, but it's hard to predict that because I don't know what I'm gonna actually be getting. So what I did was projected what I should be getting, which is, let me tell you what I did. I predicted I would be getting another 14,475 and another 11,400 just off the plenary and CT cases. And then I tripled the amount that I get every year because I should go from $2 to $6. So I would have to predict what I'm gonna get in that account. And then I would have to predict what I'm gonna need to budget every year. So it's really hard. And this is like, I did this really quickly yesterday. So this is a very rough idea. So I would say I would probably be at least doubling what I'm gonna fund in that account on a budget. So instead of going into you on budget time in September saying, I'm gonna fund this at 15,000, it's probably gonna go to 45, is my assumption, because it's gonna at least triple, if not more. But if we take all of that money and spend all of it out of jury fee fund, which right now it says it's 87 with that 40,000 I started with, then I will have nothing for 2024, because that would deplete it all. So then I'm just kicking the can down the road, per se.
I only speak for myself, I don't speak for everyone else, but for me personally, I mean, we're only 5 months into the year, and
And they
as
haven't
you
even started this yet.
said, it's difficult for the projections. I'm kind of in the camp of liking to, I have no problem with you coming and asking for whatever you need. I know a lot of you department heads don't like to come and ask for what you need, so you want to get it all in advance. I kind of subscribe to the theory of, let's wait and see if we need it, and then come to the council and ask for it. And that's where I am. I can't speak for everyone else, but as far as budgeting, I don't know how you do it, but when I did budgets and it was tricky like that, I would take my last three years or last 3 months and average it, now 20%. And that kind of gives you a rough go of where to go.
Yeah, I'm
what
really gonna have to
expect.
work on this prediction, just because I think by budget hearings, I'll have a better idea, because we'll be a couple months into that new fee, like the fee collection. I'll have an idea of what I'm getting in. But you can never predict how many trials you're gonna have. So that's why I took 2 years, like last year and this year, and I'm just seeing, I averaged that out of how many jury trial costs we would have. So again, it's all prediction.
The other question-
It's an average.
That Justice Center is less than 3 years old. where it seems like we've always got something, somebody coming in here, something wrong with the Justice Center. Is there any type of warranty or any type of, guarantee on the work that was done installing that equipment or the equipment itself? I mean, it's less than 3 years old and something that
So
expensive.
I have been, that, with the, what we're doing here, this upgrade that we're doing here, was not presented as an option when they installed this. I have been given the runaround on why it's not working, why the Wi-Fi portion doesn't work. Nobody has come and given me a direct answer. We have done, I have spent so much time of my own time troubleshooting that I'm done. Like, I don't have time to troubleshoot another 2 years. Not to mention that jury trials are disrupted so often that it's honestly an injustice to that trial, because you have jurors that are interrupted in the middle of evidence, and it's just not a good thing to disrupt the proceedings to come in and fix technology, right?
Is this the company that put it in?
Yes. And so they,
Or coming to,
right,
fix it.
and so this hardwire portion was not an option. And I asked them directly yesterday on the phone, because I'm in contact with them all the time. Do you have this many issues with other entities, like other courts that have this? And they would never give me a straight answer. Well, we have issues. Okay, well, I get that. That's technology. I get you have issues. Technology is not perfect. But do you have this many issues? And he never would answer me, right? I cannot guarantee it's not our building, because we still have electricity issues that have never been dealt with. We have brownouts. Now, what we did to fix that was we put battery backup units on all my equipment. But I can't even guarantee that the effect of all the electricity issues didn't have an effect on my equipment, which they're not gonna cover, so I don't wanna push that.
I think I remember actually at a council meeting, someone making that suggestion that the electricity surges and issues was possibly gonna damage equipment.
Yes. So do I wanna push that issue? And so this Wi-Fi issue has never, ever been addressed, but I can tell you the Wi-Fi is not a part of our infrastructure. It's just the equipment. So in lieu of all that, I said, okay, what is a resolution? Well, hardwire it. Okay, let's hardwire it. Let's just get around the Wi-Fi portion. And that's what this quote is that we hardwire it in, and we're not dealing with Wi-Fi, and we present the evidence, and we're done with it, and this is long-term solution, and we don't have to worry about this every single time I have a jury trial.
Yeah, I just had to Google whatever a Cat 6 cable shielded black 500 was. And it's Ethernet cable, so it'd be hardwiring.
And so,
Because that was the difference between
there,
the two quotes.
right? Because if you've been in our courtroom, from the equipment at the court reporter stand, there is equipment that goes to the attorney tables, so the runs are already there. We're just taking those current runs and running the wiring and running the,
that's the line.
so they're trying to give it to us at a deeper discount, but they still have to do the work and they still have to pay for what
So-
they're giving us.
So to Matt's question, the company you're talking about doing the hardwire, is that the same
It's
company?
the same company,
Why would we use the same company?
because it's their equipment
Where's the
that I'm
fee
adding
here?
to.
But they're garbage equipment that's not
I
working.
I can't blame them because they're not having those issues everywhere. Again, I think it has to do with I believe it has to do with all the electricity issues we have.
So Jessica brings up a valid comparison here, because you go from, and this isn't you, I'm saying they take the Cat 6 cable, which is required to hardwire the rooms, out of the quote. So
They're covering it. They're covering that cost.
Okay.
They're just gonna eat
It
that
should,
cost.
it should be included in here as $0 then.
Right, they're just gonna cover that
Okay,
cost.
so it will, okay, so it was like.
What they've done is they're taking it out of there because they're just gonna cover that cost. That's how they gave me that
Yeah,
discount.
it should be it should be identified though, because that's part of it.
Yeah,
That's the only, that's the major part of it. It
Yes.
functionally will not work otherwise.
but yeah, that's what they're doing. They're eating that cost. Their company's eating that cost.
So back to, I think, Ryan's original point around warrantying or, guaranteeing usage. They can't prove that Wi-Fi is the challenge. We know there's Wi-Fi issues, but we're making an assumption that there's challenges and that's what's causing the issues.
Well,
How do we pull those people into the conversation, either with commissioners or?
so
have the
I can tell you
commissioners-
this. We have done a lot of troubleshooting that when you present evidence through the Wi-Fi in that room, it will work, but it won't work, or you'll have spotty, images, or you'll do a video and it'll lag, and you can't present that evidence to a jury. You just can't, because they can't see or hear.
I mean, your examples are easy
Right.
to understand
Okay,
why,
so
yeah.
when you hardwire it in, we have no issues. So to me, that's the solution. When I ask them about, okay, why is this not working? They can never figure it out. We've had the equipment sent out, we've had it looked at, they can't find any issues.
Mhm.
So I'm at a loss, and we cannot continue to be where we're at another 6 months and still have these jury trials go on and be
Yeah.
interrupted.
Totally understand that. But more my question is, how are we holding them accountable, I guess, is the question.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to be held accountable. That's the loop I'm in.
I mean, maybe
That's
somebody
the free
bring up-
Ethernet.
That's the loop I'm in.
But
Just
I
like,
have no problem with helping with this, I just wanna make
Right.
sure we're not
that's the loop I've been in for 2.5 years.
twice.
Yes. Is that nobody wants to take responsibility of why it's not working. They just can't figure it out. And there's still issues with electricity out there that people are ignoring. But there's nothing I can do about that. I can only deal with my stuff.
So you're not actually coming for anything today, but
Exactly.
We're,
Like,
um,
I can transfer this money and cover it. I'm just letting you know that jury trials might be an issue. My psych fees are an issue, and this is gonna deplete my cushion.
finance has a meeting with Shannon, tomorrow or next week?
tomorrow.
We'll bring this up.
I appreciate it because, I mean, I can't get anywhere with anybody.
Just looking in your foggy, hazy crystal ball,
Yes.
good luck with that. Do you foresee that jury trials will, I know that's, like I said, we've got more murders than we had, to, catch up from the, COVID? Do you expect them to kind of downplay, or do you just,
I don't know. Because this is what I'm seeing.
I guess my
Wait.
question was, how many of them were put out and
Right.
see it catch up?
So I've not seen a downtrend of cases being filed either. So to me, you're still gonna have to, unless these, defendants plea, those are gonna go to jury trial. What I also have seen in trend, and I just asked the state this yesterday, if other counties have the same trend, is the psychological evaluations have gone up, meaning a lot of our defendants have to have mental health evaluations. So you got two trends going that are affecting our budgets.
I just didn't know if you foresaw the future where the COVID cases would go down, get caught up.
Yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily all pandemic backlog or just, we went, I would say, we still did some jury trials. We were only actually closed 3 months, and we still did some jury trials during the pandemic era, but not as many. So some of it is pandemic, but I honestly think it's just
Just a general trend?
it's just the general.
Okay.
Mhm.
That answers
Could
the
it
question.
slow down? I mean, obviously, yes.
My
I'm-
suggestion, for when you do your budget, is just put in whatever you think you need.
Well, and that's,
And then leave
and
it
that's-
up to us to trim it back, because you don't wanna be in a situation, the prosecutors put it in the budget, not asking for what they actually need. So I would just put in what you need, and, you know, when we go dive
and
into
that's
it, we'll
what my
trim what we
point
can.
was today, to tell you, like, this, you know, the fees are going up. To pay them, the fees are gonna go up to what I get, but I don't know how that's gonna balance out. So I'm giving you kind of heads up, because it is gonna affect this year as well.
Past jurors are getting how much money?
The jurors currently,
Yes.
$15 to appear, and then $40 a day to serve. So those fees, starting July 1, they will be paid $30 to appear, and then $80 to serve for 5 days. If it goes into 6th day, they get 90. Most of our jury trials are 5 days.
I have a sidebar comment.
Mm-hmm.
I was on jury selection, 2 weeks ago.
My fault. Sorry.
I sat,
Back on the list.
I sat in the first or second row. I wasn't one of the first people chosen. And most of the people that were sitting in that first and second row could hear zero of what the attorneys were saying, because we were right underneath the, vents. And the vents blowing the air down were so noisy that we couldn't
Were the attorneys using the mics?
Yes.
Really? Okay,
I sat in the gallery.
that's good, that's good. Which court were you in? Three?
Three.
I sat in the
Find out.
gallery.
Speaking of what Jim just said, do you guys do any type of, exit interviews with your jurors, what they understood,
Yes.
what they could hear, what they could see, that
The
kind of
actual
thing?
jurors that were picked, yes. The jurors that served, not the jurors that
Okay.
just appeared. But the jurors that served, yes, we do exit. The judge speaks with them and the attorneys too.
I felt bad for the prosecuting attorney from what I could hear. Well, let me put it this way, I felt bad because I couldn't hear probably 98% of their
So
presentation.
that tells me that the amplification in the room needs adjusted.
And was it Mr. Bryan?
Well, we always have problems with Mr. Bryan never speaking up enough.
Okay.
And he's never uses the mic, like, we have to get on him, so, but if Zach's not being heard, that surprises me, because he's usually very loud and uses the mic, so that tells me, but see, if people don't tell me there's an issue,
You can't fix it.
I can't
You don't
fix
know
it,
about
and so this is the first I'm hearing of that. So I would be down there doing, adjustments to their amplification, turning it up.
It was plenty cold in there. He could.
It's always cold in that
Fan
building.
down?
Shelley Harvey, Office Manager of the Public Defender's Office. As somebody who recorded on the BIS equipment for 20-some years, using that equipment, BIS has always been willing to work with us and help with any problems. And no one knew what exactly it was gonna take for that equipment to fit in perfectly at that building. So I don't necessarily think it's BIS's fault. I don't think it's anybody's fault. To say the BIS did a shoddy job, they probably, we could have insisted that they hardwired them, but we didn't know that they were gonna
Right.
need it at that point. We
We've
didn't
heard
know the
about,
Wi-Fi was gonna be an issue.
we've heard about the hardwire and the fact that it was skipped from the get-go.
Well, and we also had a third party involved that were fired, American Structure Point.
Oh.
That was part of the infrastructure.
I think what we probably need to do is next time we spend multi-million dollars retrofitting the building, we should probably put a couple million off to the side for all the things that we don't catch in the building phase, because I've been here for 2.5 years and I've been hearing one thing after another, the stuff that wasn't included in the original $45 million build. So, I'm just curious when we're gonna finally reach the end of this road and keep having to pay for things that should have already been done.
And Emily, one other thing, we've been talking about the psych evals multiple times. I know you explained to us that sometimes it takes up to 3
Right.
for one.
So each
person.
defendant, gets 2 psych evals. If those psych evals come back conflicting, then they get a third. So we have that happen. It's not as common, but we just had one in court 4. So we're talking of $2,000 per psych eval. So then you're spending another $2,000 for that third psych eval. So you can't predict that happening either, right? Everybody has their own opinion when you have a psych evaluation done. So it all adds up, right? $2,000 per psych eval. I went through all the psych evals last year because I'm like, wow, why did we spend so much in psych evals? I went to the judges. I'm like, are attorneys using this as like a new thing? What's going on? And they're like, no, these are legitimate. I did look at their rates. The rates did go up for one, but it was a minimal increase just to kind of get in line with other rates. So I really can't say it was a rate increase. I can say it was an increase in how many are getting evaluated. And I did ask the judges, is this something that the attorneys are just, using? And they said all the ones that they're getting are legitimate. Like, these people need evaluated. So I don't see it going away. We're on trend to spend the same amount of money this year. When I looked at my psych evals so far, we're out of money in psych evals. So we're now having to pull from jury trial money in the county general to cover it.
All right, do we have any other questions for Emily?
Yes, I have one. Ms. Anderson, on your spreadsheet for the jury trial cost 2023, you don't have a dollar figure for the county general?
Because I'm out, because we're gonna I'm assuming we're gonna spend all that money on psych.
All right, any additional questions?
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you.
You.
So I will bring that transfer next month.
Okay.
I'll transfer from my salary, and then I will try to have a better idea of jury trials as we go through the next few months, and I'll keep you apprised of that.
Okay.
Just so it's on your radar.
Sure, we appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you. I don't have anything else under new business, so we'll move on to elected officials and department heads. Do we have any elected officials or department heads that'd like to share? Looks like we've got the coroner.
Hello, Gavin Green, Delaware County Coroner. I stood up and I wanted to, kind of back up what Emily said, is if you go off of what murders, and that's 13, that's fine, but our prosecutor's doing a fantastic job of now going after overdoses. So we might have it as an overdose, it not be homicide. They'll convert it to a homicide, so when we list that out, so it might be 13 homicides, but then if you look at our overdoses for Delaware County, they're going after that as well too for the dealers and family, friends, and loved ones. So just to say, to look at the murders and homicides, that's kind of a skewed number. And I won't talk for Emily, but I will say those numbers are going up. And they are really catching on, and we're getting subpoenas rapidly. We actually just got subpoenaed for a case from 2019 last week out of Hamilton County, that the person's down there, and so to say that it's going to play catch up from COVID, that was 2 years ago. We've got things going from 4 years ago. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. I was not here last month, so I kind of wanted to give you an update on our numbers, what was going on. In March, we had 44 cases. April, we had 32 cases. In May to date, we're at 48 cases right now. Year to date, we've had 227 cases. That's roughly rounding up about 2 per day of cases for our coroner's office. Important note that we've had 14 suicides. And so that's one thing that we've seen. I would say that it's trending up more this year. And so I want to get with local mental health agencies, with Meridian. I want to start working with to see what we can do, maybe kind of be reactive, because really coroner's office being proactive, it kind of sounds a little scary when say, but to kind of see if the cases that we do have, if they were in our system and or if they were being helped. And I also just want to say that currently we have 3 full-time employees, myself, Gary Vanata, our chief deputy, and Rhiannon, our lead investigator, office manager. And then we have 5 part-time employees. Being the 5 part-time employees, they are paid per case, not per hour. So when I do come budget time, and then we were talking about that evaluation for the salaries and everything, it gets a little skewed when you say part-time, it's really per case. And so that's why I like to come talk about cases. I know if the sheriff's office talks about cases or how many people are on the tax roll for any of the other offices, it's a per case thing for us. So that's what we have. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Green.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff Skinner.
Good morning, Tony Skinner, Delaware County Sheriff. You asked, Mr. Webb, you asked, Emily a question about why do we keep using the same company if they're putting in garbage or something like that? So we've had a similar experience in the jail with our cameras. And the problem that we have, and I don't know if they do, is the company that was put in during the build, we didn't want them. We wanted another company, but we got stuck with them. But the company, all of their stuff is proprietary. We can't go in and buy a Stanley or a Dell or some other sort of camera to put in. It doesn't work with their equipment, so we're stuck with them. We actually did an analysis and had somebody from our old company from the old jail across the street. We loved their stuff. It worked great. And they were at Indianapolis, and their customer service was wonderful. But we had them to come in to see about switching everything over, and it was almost $500,000. So the fact is, we're stuck with them.
So like she said, if we wanna, if something goes down or whatever, we have to use their stuff now because we can't afford to switch back over. So that probably is exactly the same situation that they're dealing with. I told Dave Pennycuff I wasn't gonna talk about the federal inmate stuff, but since I'm here, just for your information, we are in what I call the final stages of this negotiation. The last thing that we're really arguing about is medical cost for federal inmates. They want us to pay for everything inside the jail, including prescriptions. I'm arguing that we shouldn't have to. Those are their inmates. Some prescriptions are very expensive, even if with discounted pharmacy. So just, we're in the final, the leg of negotiations for that. And lastly, with all of the homicides and the suicides, and I think our overtime budget is like exactly right on for the year. But we are out working overtime a lot of times in all of those cases. So, our guys are doing good work and seeing all that, but thank you. We're good.
Thank you for explaining that, Tony, about the whole system.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That was very informative.
All right, do we have any other elected officials, department heads? All right, we'll move on to public comment. It looks like we have 4 individuals who signed up, and first is Mr. Yenser.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that's you.
Rick Yenser, newsman and author. I don't really know where to begin after hearing what I just did about the new jail and Justice Center. That decision made a few years ago is going to haunt you forever. A build-to-operate project with some undocumented workers and a property that's not owned by taxpayers or government, it's just flat out wrong. Maybe if you had taken a little more oversight of who was building it, how it was being equipped, you wouldn't run into these problems. Frankly, the property, at least the school, wasn't really built for a high security. It was built as a school. But again, as you well know, you've got unlimited money, millions of dollars in cash, and I hope you work some of these problems out. What else did I hear? Oh, Pam mentioning, it's a tragedy what this government did to pay Marta so little for so much she did. Now, I didn't always disagree with her because, McGalliard Road is just a road to riches, as we wrote years ago. A convenience store at every stop, boxes galore, a mall before she came to the Plan Commission that is now just kind of faded away. I would hope you look closer at what you do to increase the economy of this community. Because again, with nonprofits that don't pay property taxes like the hospital and university, and a declining tax base, and with an assessor that wants to raise values on land, homes, businesses every year, that's going to continue to cause problems of getting new people in here, new businesses in here, and improving the quality of life, which Marta always wanted. And as I always say too, and something I heard that I figured that's what you were doing anyway with American Rescue Funds, I'll remind you again, that money should have gone to the people. It shouldn't be paying for court costs or pay raises or your operations, because again, we are the people. You work for us. And like Hughes mentioned there on new rules, you should have evening meetings so people can actually show up. I mean, the people in these offices and you work for us, the people, the taxpayers. So thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to Charlize Jameson is next.
Morning, Council.
Morning.
First, I want to congratulate, I guess it's the Republican caucus, on your selection of Jim. I think that was a great choice. He bleeds red, Muncie red, and Delaware County red. So now that you got your name plaque and it's official. So, I've learned a lot in the last 30 days. First of all, I tried to spruce up a little bit more because you never know when you're going to wind up on national television. So good to see you all look good up there. So glad to see that you took that advice too. But I also learned that some not so good things. That there's no limit to what someone will do when local people come and speak to a local council about a local issue. And probably the thing that has disturbed me most was we had a group of young people, for those of you that were here last month, several of which were minors. And they came out of concern for this local issue. And they wound up on television across the globe, some form of media. And I think that's inexcusable. I also learned that 30 days ago, we were going to get a statement. Where is it? Where's the statement? Makes me wonder what would have happened if the person involved here was mocking a black person or mocking a person of other nationality, or maybe a disabled person. Would you be taking the same approach? Nothing? Silence? Now, I'm going to bet, I'm right on this, that you've been advised by your attorneys to say nothing. You know, attorneys are capable of bad advice. And if that's the advice you've been giving, you're giving bad advice. What you're also doing is saying, we're just ducky with what's happened in the last 30 days. That's what you're saying. And Ed, I hope you're embarrassed by now, because 15 to 20 media outlets have spread Delaware County Council all over the globe. I woke up one morning to see a video of this council meeting on Australia Network. If you're not embarrassed by now, Ed, you should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlize. There's another name on here. I can't read it. I have you too, Cameron, but was this you as well? Did you sign up twice?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, there was this extra sign up out there, and then I found.
Okay. Well, I can read the other one better.
I can speak one.
We're good, but thank you.
Good morning, council. Thank you. I would ask that every council member every council member show respect, because while everybody watching at home is seeing me speak, they're not seeing Mr. Webb playing on his phone, disrespecting Charlize, as she spoke the entire time. I've come here today to ask you, council members, to change your Facebook settings when issuing important statements, please. I can't say that none of you have come out and said anything in the past month, but I haven't seen it. I can't say that any of you have utilized the template I offered, which would have not mentioned anyone by name, but included statements like, I do not in any way support mocking, harassing, degrading, or belittling my constituents. I do not support releasing information, including addresses, phone numbers, or places of employment of constituents for the purposes of encouraging harassment. I do not support attempting to score political points at the expense of those I have been elected to serve, end quote. I can't say you didn't use that, but I haven't seen it. I must assume that it's simply because of social media algorithms that I've not seen any of you make any statements. Surely you all would have strong opinions regarding a council member sitting up here and using their place of power to lie directly to you and to the people. Surely you would be vehemently against using their power to harass or bully Delaware County citizens into staying quiet. Regardless of where you stand on trans issues, the abuse of power is something that all people should be wary of, especially given our history between Muncie and Delaware County. Those in power should not be posting personal information or making false claims, misleading constituents into thinking that messages or posts made are connected to people that they are not, in order to dog whistle a few supporters into action, all while projecting his actions onto those he claims are threatening him. I myself have had actual threats made upon myself, including sabotaging my brakes. made online, which Ryan reacted with a like. This is not acceptable. Ryan even went so far as to make a post in support of eradicating trans people. Now, before Councilman Webb tries to defend it by claiming nuances between transgenderism and trans people. Without transgenderism, there would be no trans people. There would be no people who are trans. He pushed a post and agreed with it from conservative commentator Michael Knowles, who said, quote, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely, and also said there can be no middle ground, end quote. Had Knowles said Judaism must be eradicated, or had he proclaimed an all or nothing solution for homosexuality, surely no one would mistake the violent intent of such a message. We cannot mistake it here when Councilman Webb supports it. He also posted that silence equals acceptance, that when you stay silent about something that you know is wrong, then you're partially culpable. I actually agree with Ryan's statement here. I liked it when the so-called intolerant left, as Ryan likes to call us, made a point of using it years ago. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm pretty sure that advocating for the eradication of trans people and abusing power is something that most of you and most of Delaware County would say is wrong. Ryan goes on to say that we should stand on principle or not stand at all, but in the context of standing against lunatic leftists. So I'm curious what Ryan is standing up against. Freedom to have autonomy over our own bodies, freedom to love who we want, freedom to be who we are, freedom to express ourselves. If you're standing up against the freedom to not be oppressed, Ryan, you do know that you're on the side of the oppressor, right? That all being said, I'd like to ask when we can expect a statement from the council or its individual members. Finally, I'll say this before Ryan tries to once again claim we're bringing more personal things into the public forum. Your duty as an elected public servant is to represent all people. You may hide behind claiming that this is just a financial body that deals with finances, but how do the programs that serve Delaware County get paid for? Through this body. So it does matter whether or not we have public servants willing to stand up for the people they represent, or whether we have ignorant, hateful, misogynistic, transmistic, homophobic bigots in power. I truly hope all of you, along with other elected officials and those vying for office, find the strength to stand up and say that you will not tolerate this kind of behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. All right, do we have any comments from council?
Yes, I'd like to, make mention that, Miss Cindy Sabidell, after 20-some years of service, is going to retire. I've known Cindy and her family all my life, and, her retirement party is this Thursday, I think. And, just like to make a note of her years of service and thank her.
A lot of years of service.
Yeah.
All right. Hearing none other comments from the council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Matt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Piper.
Yes. Our next meeting is Tuesday, June 27th, same time, same place. We'll see you then. Have a great day.